Margaret, I remember you saying you were a dominatrix at one point.
Yes. I'm not a good one, though, because I am...
It's a bad one.
I'm so passive that I really...
Do you mind if I choke you?
Yeah.
I don't really have an opinion about it. And also, I don't find it sexy.
Yeah.
Like, so I was really poor at, doing it and being effusive about things. What they want, I think, is, just mostly to get in their head and try to figure out what they, want from you. But I never was, I don't know, intuitive enough or could get into that space. I did a little bit better later. So like not that long ago, before the pandemic, I was doing classes in Japanese rope bondage. So that was helpful.
Ooh, Japanese have their own version.
Well, the rope
bondage.
bondage, and like to try to make these really beautiful kind of knots and stuff that I think is almost like sculpture. It's like a very like macrame almost. It's really beautiful. So that was really inspiring.
Where you put the ropes on a body?
On a body.
And like this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, different poses and different ways to
Holy fuck.
That's pretty.
What if you
That's
found
beautiful.
Bobby like that in the room by himself, stuck?
to keep
Yeah.
you from chewing tobacco.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you
Yeah.
until your cravings go away.
It's one of those, like, I don't think I'll be able to get out. It's like one of those
Chinese
those
finger
Chinese
trap?
finger
Yeah,
traps.
yeah,
Well, this
Right.
is actually really pretty.
Yeah.
It is pretty, yeah.
It's cool. So I think that, I did get better at that. And, it's just, I just also don't really find it sexy. So that's part of it. Like the person that does it well is somebody that is turned on by the act of doing it. And I never really understood why it's sexy. I just couldn't find that in me. But I like the aesthetic.
But the guy that you're doing it to, is it a guy or a girl? I don't know.
It was a girl.
Oh, so you're doing it to, she's probably getting off on it.
She was like, also, we were both trying to learn. She was just trying to help me. And then, and that was really great. So we had a really good time together. But I don't think it was sexually motivated. It was more just like crafts. Oh, like we did this right.
Arts and
this
crafts.
is like very
I see.
crafts. It was
Yeah.
like color me mine or going to, some kind of like a crochet thing.
Yeah.
It was more like, hey, I got this. I finally got this down. So that was more that.
Yeah. Huh. So was it a class?
It was a class.
Yeah.
I like this, arts and crafts.
Arts
Yeah,
and
that's like
crafts.
arts and crafts. Yeah.
And we had an amazing teacher who is, her name is Mistress Midori, and she is the preeminent Japanese bondage master in this hemisphere.
Whoa.
So she's an incredible source of information. But
I never got
unfortunately, the
what I
pandemic
would.
happened, and we couldn't go to class.
Dominatrix, I understand, but the people that are the, what do you call them?
Submissive.
Subs.
The submissive.
Subs.
I just never got that part, I don't think.
Really?
Well, I mean,
Wait, hang on. Look at me. Really?
what do you mean?
Interesting.
What,
I feel like our entire sexual dynamic was that of you being a sub.
Tied up, dude.
You never tied me up, though. We
I-
played role playing where I was like shy.
No art.
Yeah, I mean, I'm Jimmy. I'm the shy guy, but it's like it was just a role I was
you were
playing.
Brandon the Virgin.
I played Jimmy and Brandon. yeah. So but I was never like
You were never John the Alpha?
no, because when I see that, it's always like you know what I mean, a black mask and like this, and they're just getting whipped to death. I mean, I've never done that.
Well, that's more like, that's the turn on is just allowing somebody else to take control. But yeah, as in that world, there's all these different variations on the theme. And I've seen some really strange stuff that I didn't understand. Like, how is that sexual? Like, it got so far away where this one guy was like in a vacuum bed and they took out, like, sort of vacuum sealed him. So he was like a steak.
Oh my God. A sous vide steak.
What?
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
like a sous vide steak and
Like a Kobe steak, maybe, or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
but then he was really turned on and he jizzed in the vacuum seal.
Whoa.
So then it was like he was marinated in his own sauce. And I was like, this is not really sexy to me. I guess but he was really into it. And I couldn't really figure out why this was
Yeah.
interesting. But I was happy to just be there, like, okay, that's great.
That's what you said out loud.
I was like,
That's
okay.
wonderful.
That's wonderful. You are really enjoying this moment.
Yeah.
And I think that's great. People have different kinks in why they do things. I just didn't really quite get the entry point into. There was one guy who really wanted to set my leg on fire, and
What?
so he would do that with hand sanitizer. So he spread my leg with hand sanitizer and then light it, and then I would just look at it and go, okay. Well, then it was on fire for a second, and then it was out, and I did not understand why it was sexy.
Yeah.
But it's it's fine.
Wow.
That's his thing.
That's his thing. And
Yeah.
then he and we broke up, but then he was dating this woman who really liked to be in a motorhome, in the small closet in a motorhome. Had to be motorhome.
Yeah.
And it had to be like those are so small, the narrow closets. And she would just wedge her body in there and just be in there. And that was like her whole thing. She just wanted to be in the,
For how long?
maybe like for 10 minutes or something.
And she would get off on that?
Yeah.
I feel like that's something you like, being in super tight spaces.
Yeah, I like it, but not sexually.
But that
I can't
but
move my
then-
arms to jerk off. There's no way.
But maybe it's like her impetus was not openly sexual, but it's just like a comfortable feeling of.
Oh, wow.
Kind of like in the same way that
I like vaginas,
that's
I'm old
pretty
school.
basic.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you know how what's her name, Temple Grandin? She came up with that whole system to humanely kill cows, to kind of take away the stimulus, so they would feel more corralled and their body would be pressed on and they would have weight on them.